Welcome back to this Tall Story Time. We're going to carry on reading The Shrimp. We're on chapter 8 at the moment. Oh, also, happy St George's Day. It's today, so it's England's national patron saint day. But yeah, we're going to carry on reading The Shrimp. We're on chapter 8. We just have a think about the last thing that happened. I'll give you a clue. The puppy's family took Ben home in triumph. Ellen was quite surprised to see a procession come up the path led by a yapping dog. The parents told everyone in the house what a hero Ben was at least 3 times. Losing Lottie would have ruined our holiday, said Dad. It would have ruined more than our holiday, said Mum. The little girl threw out an arm. It would have ruined my childhood. Everyone laughed and Lottie tried to jump over the wall, but was caught by Rick and tied to a gatepost. The mum took some photographs of Ben and Puppy with her instant camera and wrote on the back, Lottie, rescued by Ben Shrimpton. Here's another picture of them. So taking Lottie back and tied to the gatepost. Oh, what's going to happen now? Meanwhile, the dad went along to the surf shop and bought Ben a top-of-the-range yellow and green surfboard. But I'm going home tomorrow, said Ben. We can have an early morning surf before we go, said Jenna. And who knows, she winked at Dave. We might be asked again next year. Not a chance, said Dave, but he winked back. Wow, said Ellen, after they had all gone. Nice of them to be so grateful, said Jenna. So they should have been, said Ellen. But people aren't always grateful when they should be, said Jenna. That's for sure, said Rick. Dave put an arm around Jenna. So pretty and wise too. Jenna laughed and picked up the photograph. I love this picture of you, Ben. Here's the picture. And he saved the dog. Ben leant towards her and frowned. Don't I look a bit sort of pleased with myself? Jenna smiled. That's what I like about it. You should be pleased with yourself, said Ellen. Yes, Jenna ruffled Ben's hair. You're my little hero, my star, my starfish. Ben sat watching the fields flash by the train window. He had socks on for the first time in days. He glanced at his new surfboard tucked in the gap behind Jenna's seat. That morning it had gone like the wind. Whoosh! Ben smiled at the memory. But as the train carried him closer and closer to home, Ben's thoughts moved from the past to the future, from the Cornish beach to the classroom. Ben? Jenna was looking at him. What are you thinking about? School. It was fun though, wasn't it, Cornwall? It was great. Jenna blew on her coffee. You got some good shells. And some, Jenna smiled, like that cowrie. Yeah. I was so relieved Ellen didn't take it. Jenna winked. I know, but it was so nice of you to offer it. She sipped some coffee, getting froth on her nose. So how did this shell thing really start? Was it because of the competition? Ben thought. No, I was interested before then, but the competition made me concentrate, do my research. He took out his seashore guide, looking battered and curled after so much use. Jenna nodded at it. Have you found everything in there then? No way, but I've made an okay collection. So I'm looking at the shell book on the train with Jenna's coffee. Okay, an okay collection, Jenna repeated, laughing. Oh, Ben, your collection's a cracker. You know it is. Well, and I bet you win that competition. Ben shook his head. Doubt it. You doubt it? Cried Jenna. After spending all summer working on your shells? Well, if there's any fairness in the world... Jenna paused and looked thoughtful. Mind you, I'm sometimes not sure there is much. Suddenly she grinned and pinched his knee. But at least there are ants. For some time they were silent. Then Jenna nodded again at his guidebook. So what haven't you got then? Ben frowned. It's not something to collect, more something to see. Really? And it's not a shell either. The train was beginning to slow. Well, what is it then? Said Jenna, getting to her feet. A seal. And Jenna turned and stared at him. Chapter 9. Oh, looks like they're back in school. Ben laid his shell collection carefully on a table in Miss Freeman's room. Wow, Ben, said Kate, you've been working hard. Yeah, said Ben. And look at your labels. I didn't know you could write so neat. No, said Ben. I love those sweet little teeny shells. They're ditzy. If you say so, said Ben. Well done, shrimp, said Raj. Now Miss Freeman came over. Hey, look at these, she said. Well done. She gazed at the table. In fact, there's been a lot of good work. Ben looked at the table too. There were all sorts of things. There were collections of shells, collections of flowers, collections of leaves. There were bark rubbings and ant farm crawling with ants and some experiments using jam jars. Someone, surely Melissa, had done a huge project on ponies, complete with horse tack and rosettes. Melissa wouldn't let the fact that ponies weren't exactly wildlife put her off. And there were a sheaf of neat bird drawings that Ben knew at once they were Kate's. Those bark rubbings were really difficult, grumbled Raj. I kept making holes in the paper. Suddenly Miss Freeman pointed the finger. Whose is that? They all looked. There at the end of the table was a pot with a very dead plant in it. No one knew anything about it, but suddenly Kate said, I wonder if Spike has anything to do with it. Spike did have something to do with it. Yes, he said, it's my wildlife project. But what sort of project? Asked Miss Freeman. It's an interesting experiment, said Spike. Oh yes, said Miss Freeman. What sort of interesting experiment? Well, Spike explained it shows what happens when you go away on holiday and leave a plant without water. He looked quite hurt when everyone burst out laughing. Okay, Spike, Miss Freeman was smiling too, but you'll have to write it out properly. Plant name, dates, everything. Not everyone had done a project. One of these was Colin, who went round telling anyone who would listen about the villa his family had taken in Italy. It had this amazing pool, and a maid and a cook and everything. Ben heard him tell Raj at break. Gosh, said Raj, impressed. A villa with a cook. And I learnt lots of Italian. I can ask for 12 different sorts of ice cream. 12? That's a lot. Raj paused. So you didn't do a wildlife project? There they are there, talking. And the next page. Colin shook his head. Couldn't, just didn't have time. He curled his lip. Anyway, I reckon wildlife projects are for anoraks. Raj looked surprised. Anoraks? Yeah, Colin. Yes, said Colin. Anoraks. When Colin had gone off, Raj came over to Ben and Kate and Spike. He was frowning. What are anoraks? He asked. They're sort of jackets, explained Spike. And sometimes they've got a sort of fluffy bit on the hood and toggle things on them. And... Be quiet, Spike, said Kate. You're not explaining at all. She looked at Raj. What Colin was saying, in his Colin way, she said, was that people who do wildlife projects are, well, uncool. There was silence. Well, are they? Said Raj. Are they uncool? Kate thought a bit. Well, look at it this way. If being interested in wildlife is uncool, then Ray Hatcher and Miss Freeman and you and me and my dad and almost all the other people in the class are uncool. And Colin is cool. Or thinks he is. She spread her hands. So take your pick. Come to think of it, said Spike, I don't think anoraks have toggles at all. Well, we're going to move on to chapter 10 after. Perfect. Thank you for listening. Have a think what's going to happen next and how the story's going to end, because we've only got about 30 pages to go. So probably 2 more days, I reckon, and then we'll be done. Right. Thank you for listening and have a lovely day.